What's up, YouTube, Facebook, world? Um, this is Taiwan, aka Big Ride, coming back to you with New Jack City 2, Son of Nino. This is chapter 11. I hope you've been following along and enjoying. I know I have been. Glad it's getting out there to you. Here we go with chapter 11. Enjoy. The next day, the 22nd precinct was in its usual uproar, but even more so in the homicide department. The three shootings from the previous day had everyone scratching their heads. Now that the smoke had cleared, the detectives that were working the case were no closer to apprehending any culprits for the crime than they were yesterday when it had first happened. Just as Peretti was walking down the hall to get some coffee, Scotty came bopping through the door. Well, well, well. Look who we found. Look who finally decided to come back to work with the rest of us poor saps. How was your holiday, Captain? He teased. It was all right. I can't complain. How was yours, Nick? Are you kidding me? Yesterday was just another day for me. I didn't even remember that it was a holiday until last night when the fireworks started going off. I swear it was a full 2 minutes before I was calm enough to host my peace. Scotty laughed at that. That bad, huh? Nikki gave Scotty a wide-eyed look. Worse, there was trouble in the corridors yesterday. My favorite project apartment, Scotty commented sarcastically. What happened? What else? The bastards are over there doing what they do best, killing each other. Hey, watch it. Those are my people that you're talking about, Nick, he said, jokingly pointing a finger in his direction. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I just call him like I see him. Yeah. Now, what's the story? You remember Dolph, the neighborhood dope man? Yeah, I remember that fat fuck. Why? He the one that bit it? Him and two of his flunkies. All dead? As a doornail, Scotty took a sip of his coffee and let the information soak in. Any particular reason why? Is there ever with those people? He quizzed back. Scotty gave him a look of warning and Nick shrugged his shoulders. Sorry, that time I was talking about drug dealers though. Seriously. Just do me a favor. From now on, keep your personal opinions to yourself, Scotty admonished. Though they had known each other and had been partners for a number of years, Nick still got on Scotty's nerves from time to time. Scotty didn't believe him to be what you call prejudiced in the traditional sense, but there was no question about it that he was dangerously close to the line sometimes. So what about witnesses? Mum's the word. Everybody's lips are sealed tighter than a nun's pussy at an orgy. Scotty looked at him in disgust. You kiss your mother with that mouth? Only if she brushes first and then gets me drunk. Scotty shook his head at him. You one sick puppy, he said, walking away from him. What? Oh, come on, it was a joke, he said to Scotty, retreating back. Okay, I was only kidding. I don't really have to be drunk. Scotty. Meanwhile, back at the Carter apartments, the various hustlers that stayed in and around their building gathered together for an impromptu meeting. The same people that usually competed for the abundant and steadily flowing cash there had temporarily placed their differences aside to unite against a common enemy, CMB. Everyone was there. There was TY, who was now the biggest crack dealer since Dolph's demise. Then there was Mike, who had it sold up on the weed tip. Tutu was the man to see for heroin, or boy, as it was often called. The head dealer for X was simply called that, X. And last but not least was the undisputed lord of meth, Lucky Lou. He was a white man who personally could not have cared less if all the niggas killed each other. But since a large part of his business came from the Carter apartments, he thought it best to make his presence felt as well. But even with that being the case, he still did not make a personal appearance. He sent his personal flunky, Jim, who was, of course, a black man. And last but not least, there was a neighborhood dirty cop, Officer Randy Nichols, appointing himself the unofficial spokesperson. spokesperson for the supposedly secretly meeting in the stairwell, T.Y. prepared to speak. No one knew that there was an uninvited person further up the stairs listening to every word. I'm glad that you all showed up here today. As you're all well aware of by now, we have a problem. This group of men who call themselves CMB are here, and apparently they mean business, as we have all seen. Mike stood up from the step that he was sitting on. How the hell can you even fix your mouth to call them men? Did you see their leader, the one who calls himself Nino? He ain't shit but a kid. Kids killed too, X pointed out. Where the hell did these motherfuckers come from anyway? Jim asked. I never heard of them before yesterday. Well, I don't know about the rest of them, but the one that calls himself Nino claims to be Nino's son. Well, where's he been? Who's his mama? And why haven't we ever seen him before now? I don't know the answers to none of those questions, but I do know one thing. I was just a kid here when Nino ran the Carters. And to tell you the truth, he does look a lot like him, Mike admitted. Tutu finally chose to speak up. Well, I haven't seen the motherfucker, but I don't care to either. Shit, I'm only here as a courtesy to my man X. I mean, my business ain't in jeopardy. I personally believe that they want the crack business, and everybody here knows that I don't sell crack, only boy. And what makes you think that then he's not after your business too? Mike asked. When was the last time you heard about a turf war getting started over heroin? We tend to be players about our game. Our money is going to come regardless. Most of them voiced their individual disagreements over his statement. All right, even though that's bullshit, let's just say that hypothetically you're right. They're here for the crack business. How long do you think it'll be before someone hears about what happened here and decides to try their hand? How long before someone decides to come for your business too? It's only a matter of time, Tutu. This is just as much your problem as it is everyone else's. X nodded his head. TY is right. I say we lay them all down and send out a message to anybody else who might be thinking about trying to pull it. I bet that'll make them think again. And I'll do everything in my power to keep the heat off you guys, Nichols added. Everyone looked at him like he was crazy. Bullshit. You got to do more than that, Nichols. For all the money that we pay your crooked ass, you're going to have to get your hands dirty too, Tutu stated. Nichols stared at him, wanting to say something, but he knew that he would be overruled, especially since they all chipped in every month to pay him $1,000 a week. Yeah, whatever, he agreed half-heartedly. Good. Now who's with me? One by one, all of them raised their hands. Okay, we're in agreement. The next time the CMB shows their faces around here, then they leave in body bags. All of them left out of the exit door at the bottom of the stairwell while their undetected eavesdropper left out of the door upstairs. Nino walked into his Aunt Nora's house and found her sitting on the couch listening to the gospel. When she saw Nino, she smiled sympathetically. How was the funeral? She asked. Nino just shrugged. It was a funeral. A lot of flowers, some crying, a skinny white man saying nice things about my mother, even though he didn't know her. You know, the usual. Nora sighed deeply. Are you still mad at me for not going back with you? Hey, if you couldn't make it, then you couldn't make it, right? I wasn't telling you no story, Nino. I couldn't. If I stay in a car or a bus or anything for over an hour at a time, I get deathly sick. And anybody that know anything about me know that I'm scared to death of flying. Shoot, I'm the only one that you got left. Why you think I ain't never came to visit y'all? I don't know. I never really thought about it, to tell you the truth. But look, I only came by to get the rest of my things out of the room. I'm moving out. Nora looked alarmed and stood up out of the chair she was in. Moving out? To go where? I'm the only somebody you got left in the world now. You don't have to leave. You welcome to stay here as long as you want. Nino felt sorry for the old woman. He knew that she was lonely and with him staying there, she would finally have the company she so craved in her elderly years. I know that I'm welcome to stay, and I thank you for that. But I have my own place to stay at now. Nora was confused. Your own place? Child, how you managed to pull something like that off so quick? And who gonna rent to you? You still a baby. I had a friend rent out to me. He lied. Nora, however, wasn't buying it. Nino, you ain't out there getting yourself in no trouble, are you? She asked suspiciously. No, ma'am, I'm not. Okay then. Well, I guess you won't mind telling me that all those empty boxes of bacon. I guess you won't mind telling me what all those empty boxes of baking soda was doing in my garbage then, would you? Nino was totally caught off guard by the question. He frantically searched his brain for an answer, but for the life of him, couldn't come up with one. Nora, I gotta hurry up and get my stuff out of the room. I got a cab waiting outside, he said, and bounded up the stairs. Nino went in, closed the door behind him, got the key to the trunk, and went and opened it. He hurriedly grabbed the 4 3/4 kilos out of it and placed them in the bag, zipping it up. Satisfied that he wasn't forgetting anything, Nino placed the key in the lock like he found it. When he got to the bottom of the stairs, Nora was standing there waiting on him with her arm folded across her chest. Nino, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to tell me the truth. What was you keeping locked up in that room? Nino briefly thought about lying to her, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. He bent down and kissed the old woman lightly on her cheek. You don't have to worry about it anymore, Aunt Nora. Whatever it was, it's gone now, okay? Nino went to leave, but stopped when she called his name. You be careful out there, son. I want you to know this is your home now, so if you ever get in trouble, you can always come home. You hear? You can always come home, and I mean that. Her words touched Nino. He turned back around and gave her a hug and another kiss. Thank you, Aunt Nora. I'll remember that. I'm gonna go now. After that, he left Nora. Walked to the window and after he left, Nora walked to the window and watched him get in the cab and pull off. Dear Lord Jesus, please watch over him and keep him safe, she prayed. About 20 minutes later, Nino's cab pulled up to the address of the house that he had been given. After he paid the driver, he got out and looked at his new stash house. It was red and black with aluminum siding and roughly 1.5 times bigger than his aunt's house. The big picture windows in front of it added to its overall appeal. No one was outside on the street, and as far as he could tell, there was no one peeking at him through their doors or windows. Nino walked up to the mailbox and stuck his hand inside it. Sure enough, there were 2 sets of keys inside, just like Manny had told him there would be. One set belonged to the house and garage, and the other set was to his car. Nino anxiously went through all the keys until he found the one that fit the front door. When he stepped inside the house, it felt so homely he half expected someone to come down the steps and greet him. The house was furnished as if someone had lived there already. There were even a few pictures hanging around with black people in them. But the clincher was the family portrait that hung on the far right wall. Nino stepped in further and closed the door behind him. When he went in the kitchen, he saw that the refrigerator was even fully stocked with food. Curious, Nino went about exploring the rest of the house and discovered it was bigger than it looked. There were 4 levels. The first one consisted of 3 bedrooms and a full bathroom. The second level was the large living room with its high ceilings, the kitchen, the dining room, and another half bathroom. The third level was a large carpeted den with a set of plush furniture, a large plasma television, a bar, and a weight bench. Nino went through a door to the right and found another room as well as a short staircase that led to a large basement complete with a washer and dryer. Still stunned by the grandness of the whole house, Nino went out of one of the back doors. For some strange reason, the house had 2 of them on different levels, and into the 2-car garage. He flipped on the light, and beside his car was an all-black 2010 GMC Terrain. Nino opened the door to it and retrieved the keys that were in the ignition before moving on to his car. He opened the trunk to his car and saw that it was filled to the brim with different duffel bags and backpacks. Upon glancing in the back seat, he saw that Manny and Ortiz were true to their word and had indeed come through for him. Immediately, he went to work grabbing the bags and toting them into the house. When he was finally finished lugging them all inside, he locked all the doors and opened every bag, only to be astounded over and over by what he discovered. Ortiz had literally flooded him with everything they had discussed. Nino rolled up and blazed a blunt in awe of all the drugs that were in the dining room. If any of the alphabet boys were to kick in the door, there was no possible way that he would ever see daylight again as a free man. Surrounding him was 50 pounds of fluffy lime green weed that tasted as good as it smelled. Nino was looking at 5 jars of ecstasy pills. The different colors of pills reminded him of Skittles or M&Ms. Nino counted the keys of Coke again and still couldn't believe that there were 30 of them, with the ones that he already had in possession that brought the total to just short of 35. The other wrapped packages of either brown or white powder he took to be the brown heroin and China white that he'd heard so much about. There were 5 each of them. Then last but not least were the large, chunky, glass-looking packages. Nino knew that this was the infamous meth, shards, glass, ice. There were 10 of these. Even while high, Nino was able to calculate how much he owed Ortiz. The ticket came to over $1 million, 1,190,000 to be exact. When he calculated how much he would stand to make off the whole cargo, his heart almost gave out on him. Over $3 million. Even after he paid Ortiz, he would still have about $2 million for himself. Already at the young age of 18, Nino was a millionaire. All he had to do now was actually make the money. He still wasn't able to believe his luck as he got his phone out and dialed Manny's number. "Hello, my young friend," he greeted. "I take it that everything is to your liking, no?" "Very much so. I was just calling you up to thank you." "There is no need for that. Your promptness on settling your bill with us will be thanks enough." "For sure, Manny. You got that. I'll have that to you ASAP." "Good, good. That is good to hear." "Hey, Manny, before I forget, there's a truck in the garage. It looks new and the keys were still in the ignition. Do you like it?" "Yeah, it's tight," Nino agreed. Manny smiled on the other end of the phone. "Tight. I like this word. It is marvelous how you young people take words and make so many different meanings for them." "Yes, that is tight," Manny said in his thick accent. Nino couldn't help but to laugh. "You're crazy, Manny." "This is true, Nino. In any case, the truck that you speak of is yours." "Mine?" Nino asked, surprised. "Yes, a gift from our friend. You need not say his name over the phone." Nino was speechless. "Wow, I don't know what to say. Thanks." "You are welcome. Now, before I forget, there's another matter that we have to discuss." "Like what?" "Housing. Something had to be done about you and your associates' accommodations. We could not have you all continuing to stay where you were, so we took the liberty of contacting another friend of ours who is into real estate. He has a few furnished homes that you can move into immediately, and you are able to obtain your own places of residence." This news was an absolute relief to Nino, as well as a load off his back. "Damn, Manny, you really starting to spoil us, ain't you?" "I told you, Nino, you are like a part of the family, and we take care of our family." "I'm starting to see that." "And you like?" "Yeah, Manny," Nino replied. "I like. Good. I will have him to give you a call sometime today. Enjoy your newfound fortune, my friend, and remember to be careful. Always," Nino remarked, and they both hung up. Nino was still having trouble adjusting to his new status. He got up and began to pack everything away just the way it was, making sure that he left one of everything out except for the weed, of which he left out 2 pounds. After storing all the bags away in the house, Nino placed his smorgasbord of drugs in his new truck and took off toward the hotel. The terrain rolled smoothly and handled like a dream. It still had the new car smell, and the sounds were on point, especially for them being factory speakers. There was a DVD player with 2 screens, as well as a monitor in the console intended to be used for backing up. However, Nino saw that he was able to engage it while driving, so he could see behind him without turning around. Good old Manny. Or was it Ortiz? No matter. Nino was feeling good and in high spirits when he pulled up to the motel. Just as he was getting out of the truck, the real estate agent called him on his phone, and Nino made plans to meet him nearby to get the keys and addresses for the houses. Nino grabbed the bag with everything in it and made his way to the door. Smoke opened it for him, and Nino stepped in and kicked it closed behind him. Big Tiny, Roni, Double D, Smoke, and DJ were all inside. The room smelled like a mixture of weed, old takeout food, and Newports as everyone lounged around watching TV. "Get on the phone and tell everybody to come down here," he said to no one in particular, and took a seat twisting his nose up. "It stinks in here." How you think it's supposed to smell with 5 niggas cooped up in this small ass room? Ronnie asked. Then you got Big Tiny in here with them stinking ass feet of his smelling like Fritos and shit. Fuck you, Tiny shot back. And Smoke and me both smoke cigarettes. You need to quit. They bad for you, DJ chided. Okay, thanks, Mom, he joked. DJ put his middle finger up in the air at him. It felt good to see his boys still laughing and joking with each other. Nino looked over and saw Double D still quiet and seeming to be in a world of his own. He had been like that ever since the shooting. Nino got like Nino got up and went over to where he was on the bed and sat down beside him. Double D glanced his way, then quickly averted his eyes again. What's up, Double D? What's up? He greeted, not looking him in the eye. You all right? He asked. Double D nodded his head slowly. Yeah, I'm good. You sure? Yeah, I'm sure, he answered, but Nino could tell that he didn't mean it. He took a deep breath and spoke to him in a low voice. Look, Double D, what you did yesterday had to be done. If you hadn't shot him, he would have shot me. Is that what you wanted? Nino immediately wished that he hadn't said anything. His eyes welled up with tears and he looked like he was ready to throw up. Double D hurriedly got up from the bed and ran into the bathroom, closing the door behind him. Nino shook his head and made a note to himself to keep an eye on him. He was taking this thing extra hard. Big Tiny saw what happened and leaned towards him in a conspiratorial whisper. Everybody ain't killers, Nino. Nino couldn't say anything in response. He just nodded his head in agreement. There was a knock at the door, and once again, Smoke opened it. The rest of CMB came in and began to set around the room. After everyone was seated, Nino walked over to the bag, opened it, and pulled out a pound of weed, placing it on the table. This pound of weed right here is for you, he announced. No one moved right away. Instead, they all looked around at each other before looking at him. So what? We selling weed now? Man asked. Yes, you are, among other things. But not that pound of weed. That pound of weed is for your own personal consumption. Big Lord stepped up to the table and fingered the package, examining it closely. Oh yeah? What's the occasion? Because we young, we alive, and we are all about to be rich beyond our wildest dreams, he stated. What you talking about, Nino? Chopper inquired. Nino smiled. This is what I'm talking about, he said, and began taking the drugs out of the bag. All of CMB's eyes were bulging as they gathered around the table. Damn, where the fuck you get all of that? Black queried. That's for me to know, youngin'. Nino, who's supposed to sell all of that? Smoke asked. Nino gave him an incredulous look. You are. What the fuck you mean, who? We don't know nothing about selling no heroin, Tiny pointed out. Heroin? Is that what this shit is? DJ asked, picking it up. Yeah, that's what it is, he said to DJ before turning to Tiny. And if we don't know, then we learn. How fucking hard can it be? DJ kept looking at the package in amazement. Damn, so this is heroin, huh? DJ, that's over $150,000 in your hand right now. Damn. Guys, if we're going to be serious about this thing, then we need to step our game up. You know what I'm saying? Now, who wants to stay here and who wants to go check out their new cribs? Again, Nino has surprised everyone. What you just say? Black asked him. Fuck all that, Joe. Did you just say crib or cribs as in plural with an S at the end? Mangy wondered aloud. You heard right, plural. The guys all cheered and applauded while shaking Nino's hand and patting him on the back. He felt like a superstar. All right, listen. You guys go pack up and make sure you don't forget anything while I go get the keys. Tonight, I want everybody to smoke, drink, pop, eat, and have a good time because tomorrow we all about that business, baby. Oh, and while I'm gone, somebody go in there and get Double D's ass out the bathroom. I got him, DJ volunteered, going toward the bathroom door. I'll be back. CMB, he hollered at all of them. CMB, everyone shouted as he left. That's the end of chapter 11. I'll be back to you guys tomorrow with chapter 12 of New Jack City 2, Son of Nino. You can also buy the book. It's titled The City, Son of Nico. You spell that Neko. It's available for sale online and on Amazon. Once again, The City, Son of Nico, Neko. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for watching. I appreciate your viewership. Everyone have a nice night. Peace out.